Part 31. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Se Nian Bai. Chapter 301. This time it was Su Ming's turn to be unexpected. Xiao Mei hadn't left yet, and it had only been a few days since the last episode was filmed. I never expected that Jiao Xiao would come back again. What was even more unexpected was that the thin young man with a stubble beard also came back with Jiao Xiao. Huh? Han Han, Su Ming looked at the young man and found him very familiar. At first he didn't know who he was. Stars are creatures that can be recognized at a glance on TV, but in real life, you may not dare to confirm them immediately. SHH, Han Han blinked, keep it secret. Su Ming said a little embarrassedly, actually, you don't have to worry too much about confidentiality. The place where the three of them met was a big meeting at the zoo. There were quite a few people in the meeting room, some of whom were employees of the zoo, and some were workers under Shen Yan. So many people, all of them were busy, as if they didn't see Han Han at all, and they were doing what they had to do. Except Su Ming, no one recognized him. Han Han's main fans are all born in the 1980s, and most of them are literary youths. It would be strange if the bear feeders at the zoo and the workers under Shen Yan knew him. Han Han was embarrassed, as if he was ignored. He pursed his lips and looked pitiful. The conference room was in a mess. Su Ming took them directly to his office and asked with some surprise, "Why did you come here suddenly?" "It's a long story." Jiao Xiao raised his eyebrows and told Su Ming about the previous dispute with the investors about making a movie. To Su Ming's surprise, Jiao Xiao was actually ready to resign. "No way, you are doing online dramas now, which is actually very promising, and what about you with so many fans?" Su Ming was shocked. "This is too willful. Now I never thought that online dramas are popular and have millions of viewers. Even if he can't realize his movie dream, it is promising after all. He just said he would not do it. Sorry for the audience's support, he can't make money, and that's not to mention. The key is, doesn't he have a contract with the investor? If he quits so rudely, won't people sue him to the point of bankruptcy? Although the directors and stars in the film and entertainment circles are glorious, the investors behind them are the real big bosses who have strong capital and extensive connections. If Jiao Xiao really quits, I'm afraid losing money is the least of his worries. He will definitely be ruined and driven away completely." Later, after listening to Han Han's explanation, Su Ming knew that Jiao Xiao's quitting meant after finishing the season, not quitting now. He didn't want to see the decline of the show with his own eyes. He hoped to end the web series at its most glorious time, and then find new investors who are willing to invest in his movie. The cooperation was going well. How did it come to this? Su Ming felt it was a pity. Jiao Xiao moved from his hometown to the capital, and after so many years, he finally had a chance to make a name for himself. Although he was still a long way from his dream of becoming a truly great director, he was also a celebrity in the industry, gaining both fame and fortune. He never expected that the entire crew had put in so much effort, and no one knew about it. It became the leading online drama in China, and it was really a pity to give it up. Han Han glanced at Jiao Xiao from the side, then relaxed his shoulders to Su Ming and said, "It's all about money." "It's an ideal," Jiao Xiao insisted stubbornly. Whether it was an ideal or a reason for money, it was none of Su Ming's business. Since Jiao Xiao had already decided, it was his own choice. Su Ming felt that there was no need for him to persuade him, and he might not know the whole truth of the matter, so it was better to stay out of other people's business. "Then why did you come here?" Su Ming asked Han Han. "Jiao Xiao came with a mission, or he came to relax. Why did this national father-in-law follow him? He and I have never met before, and we have no friendship. Could it be that he is planning to write a book about animals, so he came to the zoo to collect materials? I followed him to relax. Is there a quiet room? Arrange one for me and stay for a few days, the national father-in-law was quite familiar and not polite at all. Relax. Su Ming rolled his eyes and thought, if you want to relax, go to a beauty salon at the door. This is a zoo, what is there to relax? Do you want a bear to step on your back and a python to loosen your bones? Come on, the zoo is not short of those empty rooms. Accommodation is not a big problem. Tingfeng Pavilion is basically empty at present. The counterfeit and shoddy cultural and souvenir business on the first floor has been cancelled long ago. That thing does not make money at all, and it wastes water and electricity fees and manpower management. The 4 floors above are large enough. In addition to Xiaomei living on the second floor, the 3rd, 4th and 5th floors can be occupied. Usually, once the door below is locked, no one can enter without a key, so as to prevent the 3 big and small stars from being harassed by fans. This place is great. Han Han lives on the 5th floor, the highest floor. Tingfeng Pavilion is in the shape of a tower, with the bottom up and the top floor, which is less than 150 square meters, with bluestone bricks on the floor and antique window panes and wooden doors around. After opening it, there is a corridor outside. Standing on the corridor, you can see a wide field of vision, and almost the entire zoo is in sight. The only bad thing is that the wind is too strong. After all the doors on all 4 sides were opened, the draft could blow away the hat, and Su Ming's hair on his head was flying back, messy as a dog. Xiao Xiao lives downstairs. He has to write the remaining scripts for the next few episodes every day, so he has something to do. But this father-in-law came here just to relax, as he said. He can't just sit here and blow the wind all day long, right? How about I find something for you to do? Su Ming asked against the wind. What is it? Would you like to be a webcaster? Han's father-in-law's Weibo, Jia Xiao's Weibo, and the zoo's Daowen Yuk Weibo all posted a new message almost at the same time. The most direct one from the zoo's online live broadcast platform has been officially built, and the premiere will start at 12 noon tomorrow. Everyone is welcome to log in and watch. There is a small reminder at the end, there will be a mysterious guest. The news that the zoo is going to build an online platform has actually been posted on Weibo a long time ago. Hundreds of thousands of fans are quite interested. After all, it is free live broadcast, and it doesn't cost money. It's not bad to watch animals when you are bored, and it can kill time. So soon after this Weibo was posted, it received a lot of attention. Several other zoos that have contacted Yangchuan Zoo also forwarded this Weibo. The most discussed topic is the last little hint, there is a mysterious guest. Many people are guessing who the mysterious guest is. Some guess it is Jiao Xiao, some guess it is Bake or Xiaomei, some guess it is the director himself, and some guess it is King Tiao Tiao or the monkeys of the Axe Gang. Anyway, everyone's thoughts are basically leaning towards the last time. Because Jiao Xiao also posted a very simple message on Weibo, see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow? This sentence sounds weird at first. It's not like classmates are leaving school or colleagues are leaving get off work, just saying hello and saying see you tomorrow. You can't see a star just because you want to. Jiao Xiao's fans are all over the country, and he doesn't have the ability to clone himself. See you tomorrow, how and where? A large part of Jiao Xiao's fans and Daowen Yuk's fans overlap. The fans of both sides are connected in this way. When you think about the 2 pieces of information together, you can guess about 70%, Jiao Xiao will probably appear on the zoo's online live broadcast platform tomorrow. Fans who have been following the SpecialAbilities for a long time know that before Jiao Xiao started this web drama, he was actually an internet celebrity who released his own Jiao Xiao Teaches You XXX series of videos on the internet. At that time, the concepts of online anchors and self-media were not popular yet, but in essence, he started out as an online anchor, but it was not a live broadcast, but a recorded broadcast. When Jiao Xiao was doing recorded self-media, there was no investor, and there was no hype from online promoters. He relied entirely on content as king, had a good reputation, and spread the word among friends. He gradually gathered the initial fan base and made the name of Jiao Xiao famous on the internet. Like now, a slightly interesting program can become popular overnight and gather millions of fans under the operation of promoters and capital, which was unimaginable at the time. It can be seen that in this regard, Jiao Xiao has certain strength. Some of the SpecialAbilities fans followed him from that time. I heard that Jiao Xiao is going to return to his old business, and I am quite looking forward to it. Look forward to the return of Jiao Xiao's true colors, someone left a message below. Su Ming found out Jiao Xiao's original Jiao Xiao teaches you XXX series of videos and watched them again. Due to the different times, production technology and team differences, and audience groups, it cannot be simply compared with the unthinkable. But it can be clearly felt that the videos made by Jiao Xiao before did not have such a strong commercial flavor as later, nor did they deliberately please the audience. Each plot is very spiritual and unpretentious. At least in Su Ming's opinion, Jiao Xiao in the previous series seems to be closer to Jiao Xiao himself in life. Han Yuefu also posted a short Weibo with only 4 words, "Long time no see." In this era of numerous internet celebrities, no one would associate Han Yuefu's very obscure Weibo with Daowen Yuke's Weibo. However, when he mentioned this, many fans really remembered that Han Yuefu seemed to have not appeared in the public eye for a long time, as if he had disappeared out of thin air. Someone followed up with a sentence, "When will we meet again?" The man just said it casually, but he didn't expect Han's father-in-law to actually reply, "Tomorrow at noon, Yang Chuanzu, online live broadcast platform." Generally, online celebrities will maintain a sense of mystery, and their words are ambiguous, leaving people to guess. Han's father-in-law is a literary youth, so this is even more so. Usually, there is some information on Weibo, which is always vague. This time he said it so directly, which instead created a sense of gap. "Yang Chuanzu, what's that? Are you going to be an online male anchor? Dance for me, moi." Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 302. In the Internet age, the speed of information dissemination is astonishing. 3 short messages were posted on 3 Weibo accounts at the same time. Within a few hours, fans of the respective Weibo accounts discovered the correlation. Then on Yang Chuanzu's live broadcast platform, the identity of the mysterious guest is ready to be revealed, calling Beast and father-in-law Han. Why are these 2 good friends going to the zoo? Is there any adultery? The director really has a lot of friends, and he even invited his father-in-law to stand on the stage. Su Ming's local zoo group also learned the news. The cotters from various zoos in the group are almost all middle-aged people. At least they are in their 30s, and a few are almost 50. They basically have no understanding of new things like online live broadcasts, and they have no idea about relying on celebrity platforms to expand. They are not optimistic about the prospects of live broadcasting. Utilizing the star effect can indeed build a brand in a short period of time and increase viewing traffic, but if 2 problems are not solved, the live broadcast platform will still not be able to operate normally and healthily. The first is still an old problem, the charging model. Inviting celebrities, although it played a promotional role, still did not solve the problem of profitability. Even if there are a small number of fans who are willing to pay to watch their idols live broadcast, the cost of inviting celebrities to the platform is higher. It is impossible for Su Ming to find celebrities who appear for free every time. The second is the content issue. This is an old problem. The reason why not many people watch online animal live broadcasts is that there is no content. The animals can't perform or sing, and they can't walk away intentionally or unintentionally. It's not very attractive. It's okay to have a fresh picture for a few minutes, but it's hard to attract people to watch the live broadcast for a long time. I never thought that although the plot is fragmented, there is still a plot after all. but the live broadcast between two celebrities is nothing more than introducing animals. What kind of plot can there be? Is there anyone who is really willing to sit in front of a computer and spend hours watching celebrities chat? Or even willing to pay for it? Su-ming did not answer these questions in the group for the time being. It's not that he is too self-conscious and unwilling to pass on his experience, but because of the generation gap, some experiences are useless just by talking about them. Only by waiting for the old comrades in the group to see the results with their own eyes and then think about them can we understand. These two problems, in the final analysis, are the thinking of these old comrades who have not kept up with the development of the times and do not understand the current mainstream groups on the internet. In fact, Su-ming didn't understand it either. For example, if you say that various live broadcast platforms now have content, what content do they have? It's nothing more than playing games, live broadcasting family affairs, or even live broadcasting eating and sleeping. The female anchor sang, cooed, and occasionally exposed her thighs. If it's just for pictures, it's better to go to the movies directly, or go to adult video live broadcast websites such as MFC Abroad, and watch real guns and live ammunition directly, which is more enjoyable. But it just so happens that such a live broadcast, which in the eyes of old comrades and veterans is not interesting, can attract hundreds of thousands of viewers, including many rich people who spend a lot of money. Audiences are tired of watching celebrities perform on stage wearing masks, and want to see the real side of other people's lives. Therefore, not only are online platforms popular, reality shows are also popular. Of course, today's reality shows are also acting, but they are acting in life, at least they look real. Therefore, it doesn't matter whether there is a plot or not. Life is like a drama, it all depends on acting skills. Whether the online live broadcast can be popular depends on the hosting skills of the host and the planning of the program. The live broadcast program started at 12 noon on time. Su-ming did not participate in the live broadcast. Instead, he took several key employees of the zoo and sat in the conference room with Shenyan to watch the effect of the first live broadcast. From the background data provided by the technical staff, it seems that people have been accessing the address of the live broadcast platform since about 9 o'clock in the morning. However, the live broadcast platform has not been opened at that time, and nothing can be seen. There is only a silly dog on the screen. The big-faced Persian cat has a countdown on its head saying "n minutes and n seconds" until the live broadcast starts. As the countdown shortened, the number of visitors began to increase. After 11:50, the number of visits reached a peak. There are currently about 25,000 people with the last minute before the live broadcast started. Anna Shen provided a relatively accurate number. 25,000 people doesn't sound like a lot, at least compared to the 40 million followers of the three Weibos combined, it's not even 1,000th. But this cannot be seen through simple data ratios. First, among the three Weibos, Han's father-in-law has the most fans. A large part of his fan base does not know how to watch online live broadcasts. These people are not the audience and consumer group of online live broadcasts. Second, not all fans check Weibo every day. Most people may only check Weibo after a long period of time. Therefore, not all fans know the news that the online live broadcast platform will be broadcast today. It can even be said that most people, some fans, don't know. Thirdly, not everyone has time to watch the live broadcast online at this time. Another most critical thing is that the current live broadcast platform has a PC client and has not yet developed a mobile app. Nowadays, most young people do not use computers much except for work. They usually use mobile phones or iPads to surf the internet. So this eliminates a large number of people. In general, without deliberate publicity, the first broadcast can attract more than 20,000 people, which is a pretty good result. If millions of people really came in at once, the zoo server would probably crash instantly. Sister Tong and several employees of the zoo were shocked by this number. More than 20,000 people. Wow, more than 20,000 people came to see our zoo in this morning. Sister Tong was very surprised. The zoo's usual passenger flow is only a few tenths of this number. If there are so many people every day in the future, won't the zoo soon become famous throughout the country? She couldn't help thinking, if these people can buy tickets to watch, how great it would be. Yangchuan City Zoo will immediately become the most profitable zoo in the country. Su Ming was relatively calm. Some of these 20,000 people came for the stars, not the zoo itself. If there is no star effect, the number will drop significantly. As for everyone buying tickets to watch the live broadcast, Su Ming is sure that if this is done, it would be good if 1/20th of these 20,000 people can stay, so it is not realistic. The live broadcast time is set by the computer program. Before the time is up, there is only the big-faced Persian cat with a countdown on the big screen. Click on its face with the mouse and it will meow. 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. The time is finally up, the screen flashes, and the entrance to the live broadcast platform opens. After clicking in, what is presented to everyone is a screen that is very different from the style of Shanghai Online Zoo. The live broadcast room consists of two parts. On the left is a retractable list, which is divided into two categories, Celebrity Live Broadcast and Animal Live Broadcast. After the list is expanded, there are detailed items below. For example, under the Animal Live Broadcast, there are detailed items such as reptiles, amphibians, flying animals, etc. Most of the screens on the right are small live broadcast windows. The top row is the current most popular room, which is automatically generated according to the number of people in the room. Below is the zoo recommended room. As the name suggests, it is the editor of the zoo responsible for the live broadcast platform, who recommends animals that he thinks are more valuable or new. The online platform is an innovation for zoos across the country, a reform path worth studying and exploring, so not only Yangchuan Zoo organized internal viewing, but also several other zoos organized viewing, and even Shanghai Zoo, which pioneered the National Online Zoo, was no exception. Everyone wanted Yangchuan Zoo to learn some successful experiences or lessons from failures in this live broadcast. After entering the live broadcast platform, it was somewhat unexpected that the two guests, Jiao Xiao and Han Yuefu, were not gay in the same live broadcast room, but in different rooms, broadcasting their own. Not only the two of them, but also the unexpected heroine Xiao Mei opened a room and acted as a serious online female anchor. Fans rushed into the rooms of their idols, and almost in an instant, the most popular rooms were refreshed: Han Yuefu's room, Jiao Xiao's room, Xiao Mei's room. Following closely behind was Gai Yuxianzhu, with only a few dozen fewer people than Xiao Mei's room. The audience can only enter one room at a time, and Su Ming can see the situation of all rooms from the backstage. In Han Yuefu's room, on the big screen, Han Yuefu was standing on the outer corridor on the 5th floor of Tingfeng Pavilion. The wind messed up his hair, but it couldn't blow his stubble. Hello everyone, I'm now at a scenic spot in the zoo, the top floor of Tingfeng Pavilion. This is also my temporary home. Before he finished speaking, a row of computer-made fortune cats appeared on the screen in the room, shaking their arms and twisting their buttocks, walking across the screen, with a banner behind them saying the cat at 6:30 in the morning gives Han Yuefu 10 fortune cats. It was accompanied by the cats meowing. Another small row of mantis shrimps spraying urine from their heads swam under the screen with their waists bent. The white-haired mouse gives Han Yuefu 10 mantis shrimps. Immediately afterwards, the gifts under the screen were almost connected in a straight line, with people constantly giving fortune cats, mantis shrimps, and occasionally a few hip-hop monkeys, most of which were given to Han Yuefu, and the rest were given to animals. In the subtitles, there is a blank space before the word animal. It is unknown what animal it is, probably the next one to appear. As soon as the program was broadcast, Han Yuefu said a sentence and received hundreds of small gifts. The animal that has not yet appeared also received more than 30 gifts. Well, what is this function? In the live broadcast room of Shanghai Zoo, a leader who came to watch the live broadcast pointed to the row of function buttons at the bottom of the screen and asked the technician next to him. There are two big buttons in that row of function buttons, which read Send Gifts to the Host and Send Gifts to the Animals, and a row of small buttons, which are Mantis Shrimp, Lucky Cat, Hip Hop Monkey, Big Bad Wolf, Unlucky Bear, White Tiger, Lion King, Prehistoric Giant Crocodile, Super Monster with Extraordinary Beauty. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 303. What are these? The leader of Shanghai Zoo asked in confusion. The technician was relatively young and relatively familiar with online live broadcasting. He said, the audience can spend money to buy props and give them to the anchor. Then the anchor and the zoo will share the money according to the value of the props. There are such people who have too much money to spend. Isn't this a fool? The leader was relatively old and could not understand this profit model at all. He was stunned for a moment and asked, then how much do these shrimps and monkeys cost? The technician quickly clicked on the live broadcasting platform instructions on the side. It was clearly written on it that the online live broadcasting platform was sponsored by Yangchuan Zoo and operated by Daowin Entertainment Company. After the gifts were converted into currency, the entertainment company charged 30% as necessary operating costs and service fees. The rest, minus taxes and fees, was given to the anchor, and all the money given to the anchor was divided into accounts for the anchor himself. The money given to the animals was used to improve the living conditions of the animals, that is, to the zoo. Specific prices. Mantis shrimp is 10 cents, Lucky Cat is 1 yuan, Hip Hop Monkey is 10 yuan, Big Bad Wolf is 50 yuan, Unlucky Bear is 100 yuan, White Tiger is 500 yuan, Lion King is 1000 yuan. And Prehistoric Giant Crocodile is astonishingly 5000 yuan. Super Monster with Extraordinary Elegance is quite abnormal, 10,000 yuan. What a joke, don't talk about 10,000 yuan, even if it's a 100 yuan Unlucky Bear, no one will buy it, right? This is just throwing money into the water, the leader said in astonishment. Their generation has lived a hard life. Even if they have become leaders and their economic conditions have improved greatly, their consumption concepts are completely different from those of young people today. As I was watching, I heard Han's father-in-law say on the screen, I found a very interesting guy, call him over to have a look. I saw him take out a whistle, put it in his mouth and blew it hard, and a small black dot appeared in the distance in the sky, flying over the screen at a very high speed. Hula, a majestic Saker falcon landed steadily on the guardrail in front of Han Yuefu. A Saker falcon seems to be able to say hello to people. After Han Yuefu said this, the Saker falcon really seemed to understand human nature, raising a white feather-like paw towards the camera and shaking it, but its eyes were still quite unruly, and it seemed that it didn't take these humans seriously at all. Woo woo woo. A big fat bear, dragging its arms and dejectedly walked across the bottom of the screen, with a few small bees chasing and biting it behind. Chen Dada gave Saker Falcon a bad luck bear. I met a rich man. Rich man, give me a Lion King. Rich man, let's be friends. A lot of comments immediately appeared in the dialogue box next to it. Thank you for your support, Mr. Chen. I suggest that if you want to give gifts, give them to these animals, develop animal protection, and improve their lives. Han's father-in-law mentioned something off-topic, and then introduced some common knowledge about the habits of the Saker falcon, and then said, this Saker falcon has a special skill. It seems to catch fish. In the picture, the Saker falcon flapped its wings and rushed to the water army lake below like a sharp arrow. It lightly touched the water surface and soared into the sky again. There was already a big crucian carp twisting its body in its claws. Ayo ayo ayo, a tiger roared, and a local tyrant really gave a white-browed tiger. In Xiaomei's live broadcast room. This is really just a room. Xiaomei is probably a dry girl in her bones. She doesn't go out for a walk in the broad daylight. She stays in the room on the second floor of Tingfeng Pavilion, with disheveled hair and a set of pajamas. Ah, Xiaomei yawned, rubbed her eyes, and said lazily, "Hello everyone." Time flies by. Xiaomei is gifted 99 mantis shrimps. A large group of shrimps passed through the screen while peeing. The leaders of several zoos were so confused that they couldn't understand why this girl didn't do anything, but people still gave her gifts. Did these people really get their money from the wind? Oh, thank you for the shrimps. I wish it was braised crayfish. I feel so hungry. Xiaomei pouted, scratched her head, and said with a natural look, "What was I going to broadcast today? Oh, yes, rabbit. Rabbit, where is the rabbit? Where did you go?" She searched the room for a long time, but couldn't find the rabbit. Finally, as if she remembered something, she lifted the quilt. "I saw a big rabbit lying on the tatami on the floor, also sleeping, with a half-eaten carrot in her arms. Don't sleep, Bunny, get up and join the show." Xiaomei rubbed Bunny's big ears, held it in her arms, and said to the screen, "Hee hee, does this bunny look familiar to you?" "Yes, it's the king of jumping in. I never expected it." "Bunny, come and jump for everyone." The king of jumping was woken up, and seemed very unhappy. He stared with red eyes and refused to jump. "Oh, don't be shy, I'm not asking you to take off your clothes," Xiaomei said. Someone immediately spoke on the side of the screen, "Xiaomei, jump. Xiaomei, jump and give me a white tiger. This is a serious live broadcast program. I won't dance or expose my chest on purpose." Xiaomei hugged the king of jumping to her chest and said seriously. "But there is indeed a big white rabbit on your chest," someone said. "You are so dirty." Xiaomei rolled her eyes and hugged Bunny tightly. Tutu's head was not big to begin with, but she hugged her chest hard and immediately fell into it. "Let go of that, Bunny, and let me do it." Being hugged tightly by Xiaomei, Tutu was probably choked so hard that he couldn't breathe. He struggled and stepped on Xiaomei's chest. The two stood up, lying on Xiaomei's shoulders, and kicked his two hind legs wildly, as if her chest were two fleshy pads. Ah, seeing this scene, someone immediately sent 10 big bad wolves down below. Ouch, a white-fronted tiger appeared behind the big bad wolf. This time it was for Tutu Zhang. Tutu kept stomping on Xiaomei's chest, and the little round tail on her butt was twisting and turning, and it was about to get into her pajamas. Xiaomei's face turned red, and she quickly grabbed her hind legs and pulled it out. She glared and said, "Tutu, you've learned a lot. Tutu." At this moment, a line of large characters flashed across the screen of the live broadcast room. "Red Comet gave Caoni Ma a prehistoric giant crocodile." After seeing this line of text, many people immediately changed rooms. What happened? They even gave away a giant prehistoric crocodile worth 5,000 yuan. A few minutes ago, in the live broadcast room of Ming Beast. In the picture, the barking beast is standing in a grassland. Not far behind him, several grass mud horses are hiding in the corner, stretching their necks and looking here curiously. Squeaks. The monkeys with the axe on the 10 waist flashed from the screen and danced. "Hello everyone, my name is called the Beast. As you can see, behind me is the Caoni Ma, the leader of a group of 4 mythical beasts. Today, I will teach you how to become good friends with such mythical beasts as Caoni Ma." The timid Caoni Ma saw a strange bald man approaching, and was probably a little scared, so they huddled together. The beast said seriously, "As you can see, animals like grass mud horses are timid by nature, so if you want to be friends with them, you must first show your kindness, such as what I will do next." After saying that, he seemed to change his face, and in a blink of an eye he put on a very lewd smile, grinning at the grass mud horse not far away. Come on, I promise not to beat you to death." The grass mud horses were suddenly stunned. The camera moved forward with the beast, and the beast proudly gestured to the camera with a scissor hand. As I said just now, after I promised not to kill them, they really felt my kindness, and after as it kept getting closer, the caoni showed no intention of attacking me. Soon, the barking beast walked up to the group of grass mud horses and said to the camera, "Now, let's take the second step of making friends with the grass mud horses. Let them know that not only am I not hostile, I am also their friend." "How to let them know?" someone asked. "It's very simple," the barking beast puffed up his chest. "Next, I will imitate another one of the 4 mythical beasts. In this way, they will think that I am also a mythical beast and belong to their group, and then accept me." After saying that, he turned to the grass mud horse, pinched his throat and screamed strangely, "Yazoo die! Yaji butterfly! Medog mo tuo yaji butterfly." While shouting, he also touched his whole body with his hands. Su Ming, who was watching the live broadcast, squirted water all over Anna Shen's face opposite him. Although he already knew the plot, he still couldn't help but squirt when he saw the beast crying performance. Not only Su Ming, but the entire live broadcast room burst into laughter. There were so many gifts below, including mantis shrimps and lucky cats, there were too many to count. In the zoo, tourists who were playing near the alpaca home suddenly heard someone yelling and were startled. They thought to themselves what was going on. It was broad daylight and the world was bright. Could it be that the zoo was filming some movie that was not suitable for children? Subconsciously, I turned around to look. Dozens of eyes were all focused on a bald man who was having sex. The tourists were better off, after all, they were relatively far away, and the grass mud horses that were so close were completely confused. They stretched their necks one by one and looked at the beasts blankly. As you can see, they have already regarded me as another of the 4 great mythical beasts, the elegans butterfly. So, now, I can pet / touch them and become good friends with them. The barking beast finally stopped barking, nodded with satisfaction, and stretched out his hand to touch the belly of a female grass mud horse. Generally, 4-hoofed animals such as cows, sheep, and horses have a row of tools on their bellies for breastfeeding. The hand of the beast is reaching here at this time. "As a good friend, I'll give you some milk, I'm sure they won't mind," Jing Xiao explained his shameless behavior. At this moment, the female grass mud horse that was about to be attacked in the chest finally couldn't bear it any longer. It made a whooshing sound from its nose like a person sniffing, and inhaled hard. Ft. Ft. Puff puff. The sky was full of snot and saliva, and the beast was instantly wet. A line of subtitles was typed. Unfortunately, today's teaching seems to be not very successful. The boat of friendship capsizes at any time, and it is called a beast. Then the previous scene appeared. A $5,000 prehistoric giant crocodile appeared on the scene and jumped out of the screen. Whenever someone gives such a super gift, it will be notified in all live broadcast rooms. Thousands of people rushed into the room where the beast was called, and the ranking of the room instantly shot up to the first place. In Han's father-in-law's room, Hai Dongqing was eating fish live, and only the bones of the big crucian carp were left. Han's father-in-law moved a rocking chair from Tingfeng Pavilion, leaned on the side, and watched Hai Dongqing eating fish with a smile. A fan suddenly posted, "The total gifts from Jiaoxiao have surpassed ours. Go ahead, go ahead. Call the rich, and make your move when it's time." Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 304. The celebrity live broadcast lasted until the zoo was about to close in the afternoon. Live broadcast is different from acting. The host does not need to consume mental and physical energy. Zoo live broadcast is not like other online live broadcasts that make money by selling sex. Several hosts do not need to sing or dance, and do not consume physical energy, so the live broadcast can last for a long time. Xiaomei even took a nap at around 2 o'clock. I don't understand why she can sleep so much. After waking up, I found that the number of people in the live broadcast room has not decreased, but increased, and there are a lot of gifts. Han's father-in-law is similar. The environment in Tingfeng Pavilion is really good, quiet and fresh. Leaning on a rattan chair, blowing a breeze, the sun is warm on his body, and He Dongking is eating fish on the side. He sat and began to doze off. In the live broadcast room, you can clearly see that saliva is flowing from the corners of his mouth. If it is a formal news program or even an entertainment program, if the host falls asleep while doing the program, it is definitely a big accident. But the live streaming platform is completely different. What the audience wants to see is the other side of the stars, their private lives. When Han Yufu drooled, the gifts below immediately soared. You make money while sleeping, someone later described this live broadcast. After the Star live broadcast ended, Shenyan reported the data. The number of viewers in the 3-star rooms has been on an upward trend, reaching nearly 50,000 at the peak. In these few hours, the total value of the gifts received in the 3-star rooms exceeded 120,000 yuan. The 2 time periods when Han Yufu drooled and Xiaomei slept received the most gifts. About 70% of them were for the stars themselves, and 30% were for the animals. After the Star live broadcast ended, the live broadcasts in other animal rooms continued. It is impossible for stars to be in front of the camera 24 hours a day, but animals are no problem. Ordinary animal rooms are live broadcast 24 hours a day. After learning from the experience and lessons of the Shanghai Zoo live broadcast platform, the camera installation angles of Yangchuan Zoo are very clever, which can basically capture the panoramic view of the animals' lives, and there will be no situation where the animals are not in the picture. The animals in Yangchuan Zoo have all been in contact with Su Ming's spiritual power to some extent, and have a certain degree of spirituality. Su Ming has communicated with all the animals in advance. They are still somewhat sensitive to the camera and often make some performance-like movements in front of the camera. Some animals with relatively cold personalities, such as wolves, will not deliberately perform anything. Every time they pass by the camera, they just stare at the camera with squinting eyes coldly for a while. Even so, this is much better than the previous live broadcast platform of Shanghai Zoo. After all, the animals and the audience on the other side of the camera have a certain degree of communication. But there are still many animals with more lively personalities who are very keen to perform in front of the camera. For example, the monkeys, after filming and playing to death, they learned a new skill, dancing. Often a large group of monkeys lined up in a row, facing the camera, twisting their red monkey buttocks. The finless porpoise family is lively by nature, especially the 2 little finless porpoises. After swimming in the water for a while, they will pop up and wave to the camera, or perform a water treading action. The bear family often sits under the tree with the camera holding a watermelon, chewing until they are covered in juice. Their main skill is to perform eating. Watching the 3 big bears eat a lot of food with a slurp makes people hungry. The most lively ones are the 2 parrot sisters. These 2 chatterboxes usually chatter non-stop. Now that there is a camera, they are even more crazy. They stand in front of the camera all day long, telling cross-stalk one by one. "Hello, everyone, my name is Lucian. I know, drinking, smoking, and perming my hair." So even when there are no celebrity anchors, the zoo's live broadcast platform still maintains a certain popularity, and new fans continue to come to watch. Most people are still very caring. After learning that the gifts they send will be used to improve the lives of animals, for animal protection and the construction of the zoo, Many people generously donated. In just a few days, due to the love of human beings, the novelty brought by this special live broadcast mode, and the fun of the animals' own performances, the popularity of live broadcasts has risen sharply. The gifts received in the various animal live broadcast rooms alone have reached an astonishing number. Sister Tong could hardly believe the statistics. If everything goes well and continues to develop at this speed, it can be foreseen that the income from online live broadcasts will account for a large part of the zoo's income in the future, and will exceed the ticket income in all aspects. Even now, there are more than 20 kinds of animals that can support themselves with the gifts given by the audience during the live broadcast. The biggest expense of the zoo is the cost of feeding and managing animals. If online live broadcasts can solve this cost, the zoo will have almost no major expenses. This is really unimaginable in real life. Sister Tong smiled all day long. When chatting with employees, she said, "In the past, I would never have thought that our zoo could make money so easily. It's not easy, the zoo is equivalent to doing nothing. The online live broadcast platform is operated by Daowon Company, and the live broadcast platform engineering is said to be a subsidiary of Shenyan's company R/U00260. The zoo just needs to wait for the money. I have to say that Deputy Director Su is very smart and can keep up with the times," Master Peng said with a smile. Although Su Ming was the deputy director, he had been his apprentice after all. When he mentioned Su Ming, Lao Peng felt bright in his face. Of course. Otherwise, at such a young age, he could be the deputy director of the garden and become an outstanding entrepreneur. I was just a temporary worker with no talent, who would have thought that he could have such great abilities. He is also an old garden director. I have a vision, Sister Tong said with emotion. In the medical clinic, Diao and Liao were depressed again. Every time Su Ming's success appeared in everyone's sight, they both hated themselves for not living up to expectations. And Xiao, who is actually putting on makeup. It was obvious that she was not very familiar with this technique. Looking in a small mirror, the lipstick was painted on her cheeks. Let me tell you, it's too late for you two to take the regret medicine now. Xiao, whose mouth was raised high. Her mouth was already big, and it was a big mouth when it was covered with lipstick. The veterinarian looked down at the newspaper and complained without raising his head, "Who are you showing this lipstick to? It's obvious that Su Meng doesn't like it. If you have the time, go make me a cup of Izadi's root to drink. Recently, I always suffer from insomnia." Izadi's root related to insomnia? Besides, who said I must show it to Su Meng? I love beauty, Nurse Xiao, who glared. If you really love beauty, stop painting it. It looks very scary, like a monster coming out of the mountain. Oh, by the way, Su Meng also looks like a savage, maybe he really likes it? The beast continued to complain, turning over a page of the newspaper, and continued to say to the big and small Liao without raising his head, "And you too, don't cry all day long. Although you missed a big tree, there is still a whole tree. They're from the forest. Liang Shi, and that classmate from Deputy Principal Su, what's your name? Shen Yan, they're all single, you can go and flirt with them." Yang Chuanzu's live broadcast platform has achieved certain success, and the news quickly spread throughout the industry. The online platform has a recording and broadcasting function, and the real leaders of several famous zoos organized to watch the live video and learn from their experience. A deputy director of the Shanghai Zoo almost dropped his eyes when he saw someone giving away a prehistoric giant crocodile. It wasn't until the cigarette butt in his hand burned so fast that it burned his fingers that he shook in pain, threw away the cigarette butt, and asked the technician next to him, "Xiao Li, we were doing an online zoo at the time, why didn't we do this?" Compared with the live broadcast platform of Yangchuan City Zoo, although Shanghai Online Zoo is the first of its kind, it is far behind Yangchuan City Zoo in terms of visual effects in the live broadcast room and interaction with the audience. There is no gift-giving function. The technician replied with a wry smile, "Boss, This is incomparable. What do you mean? Is this technically difficult? The deputy director asked, confused. It's not a technical problem. Technically, it's very simple to implement the function of sending gifts, but the situation in our zoo is different from others. You see, they hired celebrities, which has star effect. Besides, the animals in their Yangchuan zoo can perform. Each one is trained to look like a human being, so that we can attract the audience. But our animals are not good at it. They just sleep. Even if the software has a gift-giving function, no one will give it to them. This leader is not an unreasonable person. What the technician said is indeed on point. Stars are the second best. The key is animals. Some of the animals in Yangchuan City are lively and cute, some are cute and funny, and the most cowardly ones are cold and arrogant. Anyway, each has its own characteristics. Compared with them, the animals in other zoos all look like autistic and depressed patients. How can they attract the audience? Actually, we also have animals that can perform in our zoo. Our dolphins can drill rings, tip balls, etc. They can be further trained and used to generate income. The deputy director is not an old-fashioned person, and is quite open-minded. Since it is technically not difficult to implement the gift-giving function, the Yangchuan Zoo has already found an effective way. They can imitate it, even if it is done it's not as good as the Yangchuan Zoo, but it's better than letting the online platform lose money all the time. At the same time, the leaders of several zoos such as the Capital Zoo and Shuzhong Zoo who were watching the live broadcast also had the same idea as the leader of the Shanghai Zoo, imitating the Yangchuan Zoo, establishing their own online live broadcast platform, and training animals put on a show. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 305. The deputy director of the Capital Zoo, who is in charge of publicity, looked at the assistant in front of him with a little annoyance. After the Yangchuan Zoo online live broadcast platform became popular, the leadership of the Capital Zoo organized a viewing and prepared to contact the Yangchuan Zoo to learn from it. As a result, when he called, he was ridiculed by the director of the Yangchuan Zoo's director's office with a thorny tone, and he was hit by a nail that was neither soft nor hard. The status of the Capital Zoo in the National Zoo is similar to that of the ancient martial arts leader. Whether in terms of administrative level or scale, it is superior to other zoos in the country. It usually acts in a domineering manner. If it likes someone's animals and resources, it can take them with just one word. When has it ever been so angry? But the Yangchuan Zoo has been restructured. In essence, it is not the same system as the Capital Zoo. No matter how long your arms are, you, the martial arts leader of China, can't control Robin Hood Zorro. Later, I learned that the actual head of Yangchuan Zoo was also the founder of this online live broadcast platform. Deputy Director Su had called before the online platform was launched. He wanted to communicate with the Capital Zoo in a polite manner, but the assistant who answered the phone didn't take it seriously at all and hung up directly. It would be strange if they could give the Capital Zoo a good face now. You are so young, where did you learn such a bureaucratic style? The deputy director pointed at the assistant in front of him and scolded him unhappily. You think you are great just because you have a career system? Do you think you are superior because we are the capital? You don't even take the leaders of brother units seriously. Let me tell you, when our zoo is restructured one day, people like you will all go to the northwest wind. The assistant was scolded so much that he was very black. When he answered the phone that day, he heard that the voice on the other end was too young, just over 20 years old, sounding like a student. He thought, how could there be such a young leader? At first, he thought it was a scam or something, so his attitude in response was quite bad. Later, I remembered that there was a very young leader in Yangchuan Zoo. There was a meeting in the system, and it was specifically mentioned. It should be the person who called. Most people have a stereotype about young leaders, thinking that they are probably promoted by background and have no ability. The assistant is the same. Even after knowing Su Ming's true identity, he did not take Su Ming's online live broadcast and cooperation with both parties seriously, and dealt with it hastily. Who knew that it would only take a few days for the live broadcast of Yang Chuan Zoo to become popular? How did you offend them? How do you make up for it? The deputy director cursed a few times, vented his anger, and said earnestly, "Look at them, a second-rate zoo in a place. They know to keep up with the pace of the times, reform and develop. Comrade brother, our capital zoo must be prepared for danger in times of peace. When it is time to put down our posture, we must put down our posture and learn from them." Shanghai Zoo is also quite embarrassed. They are the first in the country to run an online zoo. When Yang Chuan called to learn from them, although they were still enthusiastic, they poured cold water on them. With the tone of an experienced person, he told the other party how terrible it is to run an online zoo, and that it is simply a money-losing product. The plot has reversed. They don't need your help at all, and they have done a great job in online live broadcasting. On the contrary, the Shanghai Zoo, the ancestor of online live broadcasting, has to learn from Yang Chuan. What's the point of that? Oh, by the way, you ignored me at the beginning, and you will be out of reach in the future. The Huaxia Zoo Research and Discussion Group established by Su Ming has been receiving new member verification information in the past 2 days, and has welcomed many new friends. From the original 7 or 8 people, it has suddenly increased to more than 40 people, all of whom are leaders of zoos of all sizes across the country. There should have been such a group a long time ago, so that everyone can communicate with each other and learn from experience. North China Zoo. Yes, Deputy Director Su did a great thing and brought us together. The person who spoke was the assistant to the Deputy Director of the Capital Zoo. If he hadn't called to apologize that day, Su Ming would have actually forgotten about this matter a long time ago. With Su Ming's current wealth and status, he is too busy to handle important matters every day, so how can he have time to hold a grudge against a small employee who has never treated him well? Deputy Director Su, our zoo is also ready to learn from you and build a live broadcast platform. Please give us some advice when the time comes. Welcome comrades from Yang Chuan Zoo to visit our zoo. We are also working on building a live broadcast platform. This is the point. The leaders of other zoos were generous and directly expressed in the group that they would learn from Yang Chuan Zoo and build their own live broadcast platform. They hoped that Deputy Director Su could teach more about their experience. On the one hand, they sincerely learned from Yang Chuan Zoo. On the other hand, they also made a prior call to communicate with each other, so as to avoid you, Vice Director Su, saying that we are jealous of your live broadcast and steal your business quietly. The main purpose of Yang Chuan Zoo's online platform is to make money, and the secondary purpose is publicity. The other state-owned zoos are just the opposite. Most of the money they earn has to be handed over anyway. If they don't make money, there are also financial allocations from above, so they pay more attention to using the internet platform to become famous, or to carry out public welfare science popularization. One is related to survival, and the other affects political achievements. Both are very important. You are polite, we are all in the same industry, learn from each other and make progress together, Su Ming replied with a smile. Before doing the live broadcast, Su Ming knew very well that if it didn't become popular, it would be fine. If the network platform achieved results, the imitators behind would definitely flock to it. The network platform is open to the public, and it is impossible to keep it secret. Whether it is Yang Chuan City Zoo or the subsequent imitators, they can't hide it from each other. No matter how domineering Su Ming is, there is no reason to prevent other units from engaging in the same industry as himself. PetroChina is so ruthless, and there is also Sinopec to compete with it. Do business without fear of crowding. The more people do it, the bigger and more popular the cake of Animal Network live broadcast will be. More zoos will participate in it, which is good for the growth of network live broadcast business. However, who can profit from this industry in the end and who will be eliminated is a matter of 8 immortals crossing the sea, each showing their magical powers. The same is true for opening restaurants. Some restaurants are deserted, some are booming, and the same is true for developing real estate. Some bosses have become the richest, and some run away and jump off the building. So in the final analysis, do business without fear of competition. The key is to see how to operate. Since Yangchuan City Zoo is the first to make network live broadcast popular, it must maintain this leading advantage. One step faster, every step faster. Being young, flexible, and quick to accept new things are the advantages of Suming over other zoo leaders. After the restructuring of Yangchuan Zoo, the financial and administrative power is independent and efficient, which is the advantage of Yangchuan Zoo over other zoos. As long as these two advantages can be fully utilized, Suming is confident that he can be always imitated and never surpassed. In the past few days, based on the actual situation of the zoo live broadcast and absorbing some of the experience of other online live broadcast platforms, he has formulated a set of follow-up business strategies. But for now, these have to be put on the back burner. The most urgent thing is to take Nangong to Hong Kong to buy. After returning from Hong Kong, we will gradually implement it. In the final analysis, making money is for a better life. If even life is ruined, making more money is meaningless. I have already stood up Nangong twice, and I must not let her down for the third time. Unexpectedly, there was a problem with Nangong again. Nangong stood up Suming. I was so angry that I almost quit my job. Nangong was angry and depressed on the other end of the phone. Don't worry, tell me what's going on slowly. Suming was afraid that Nangong was really anxious, so he added, at worst, I can quit. It's not like I can't afford to support you. This is the situation. Unlike the big cities in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou where there are many celebrities and big names everywhere, Yangchuan City is nothing more than a medium-sized city at the end of the second tier. It was unexpected that the filming was filmed in Yangchuan City before. Now Han Yuefu and Jiao Xiao both live in the zoo, which is a very valuable news clue in itself. If it were just these two people, it would only be valuable. However, the popularity of the online live broadcast platform has connected many valuable news clues all at once: the successful reform of state-owned institutions, the unexpected online drama, Han Yuefu's star effect, the local zoo leading the national trend, the application of internet technology in the new era. This bunch of news clues are connected together, and it is not just a question of whether it is valuable or not. It has almost risen to the political height of promoting the image of Yangchuan City, promoting local economic development, and keeping the government policies consistent with the party central committee. As an official media, Yangchuan TV station is undoubtedly derelict in its duty if it does not even publicize and report such a big thing. Outsiders may not know that as a local TV station and government in Yangchuan, the upper-level people are well aware of all this, and it is all operated by one person behind the scenes, Suming, the deputy director of Yangchuan Zoo. Therefore, the task of interviewing Suming and reporting fell on Nangong Yan. There is no way, who made her and Suming a couple, and all the reports on Suming in the past were done by her. Oh, it's not to say all, it should be said that any news report about Suming, as long as it is not done by Nangong Yan, will definitely be a mess in the end, making the host, the TV station and even the government embarrassed. Therefore, the director of the TV station directly recalled Nangong, who was on vacation, without any discussion at all, and directly issued this glorious and arduous political task. The director's original words were, it must be done well, only you can do it. Even if you want to resign, you must finish this program first. Yeah? So you blame me again, Suming said blankly with his eyes wide open. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 306. Su Ming suddenly had the feeling that the whole world is guilty, and I am the one to blame. After all, if he didn't build this online platform, Nangong wouldn't be assigned temporary tasks. Now the two of them can hold small hands and hold big hands, Nangong's big hand, holding his own little hand, strolling in the night market of Causeway Bay and playing with something. Yes, maybe you can meet Tianal, Dihua, Yanzu who are filming. But thinking about it on the other hand, if I don't build an online platform, don't work hard to run various businesses, and don't deal with animals, the zoo and the company will not be able to develop. I will still be the poor boy who can't even find a job. Even if Nangong is willing to follow, I can only take him to set up a barbecue stall in the small streets of Yangchuan City and watch people making skewers. When I thought about it, I felt much better. Don't worry, after the show is finished, I will definitely make up for the travel. It seems that it's really Labor Day. Nangong was not too pretentious. Since the station did have important interview tasks and she was still focused on work, her mind quickly returned to the program and said on the other end of the phone, "Okay. Then prepare carefully. This report attaches great importance to it." At 10 o'clock this morning, Vice Mayor Comrade Sun Long, together with Wang Jianxi, director of the Yangchuan Forestry Bureau, and his party came to Yangchuan Zoo. Accompanied by Songs Haiwen, director of Yangchuan Zoo, they held a meeting with the zoo employees. During the symposium, Comrade Sun Long had a cordial conversation with the employees of the zoo and carefully asked about the development of the zoo after the restructuring. The employees of the zoo all said that the restructuring had injected new vitality into the zoo and inspired them. In order to improve the employees' work enthusiasm, while the scale of the zoo has expanded, personal income has also increased significantly. At noon, after having a meal with the employees in the zoo canteen, Vice Mayor Sun Long and his party visited the entire park. When coming to the entertainment projects such as the cruise ship and Guyu Xianju contracted by the zoo, Vice Mayor Sun even boarded the ship in person with great interest and took a tour on the Shuahun Lake of the zoo. Comrade Su Ming, Deputy Director of the zoo, introduced the functions of the online live broadcast platform to Vice Mayor Sun and his party in detail. After listening, Vice Mayor Sun nodded frequently and carefully asked about the technical principles of the online live broadcast platform, the current traffic, etc. information, and together with the famous Chinese writer Han Han and the famous director Yi Xing, we conducted a live webcast and had an intimate interaction with the audience. During the live broadcast, Vice Mayor Sun highly affirmed the zoo series of reforms under the leadership of the two directors after the restructuring, and congratulated the Yangchuan Zoo on its glorious achievements. After the restructuring, Yangchuan Zoo quickly established a firm foothold in the market economy through a series of measures such as continuous innovation and development of new projects, cooperative contracting with social enterprises, and the combination of traditional zoos and new era network technologies. That is, it ensures the popularization of public science and serves the leisure life of the general public, and at the same time creates economic benefits. It sets up a positive banner for many units undergoing restructuring and explores an effective path. Finally, Vice Mayor Sun hoped that the Yangchuan Zoo would continue to work hard, carry forward the spirit of tenacity and struggle, be proactive, achieve greater success, drive the tourism economy of the entire Yangchuan city, and become a symbol of urban construction and ecological protection, and harmony between nature and people. A model of coexistence. The report on Yangchuan Zoo is actually a comprehensive series. Vice Mayor Sun brought people to inspect this morning, which was just the beginning of the series of programs. Ordinary people may not pay too much attention to this report. Moreover, in the hearts of ordinary people in Yangchuan City, the zoo has become famous and in the limelight. It is natural for leaders to inspect it. But in the eyes of industry people and other zoo managers across the country, this meaning is somewhat different. Did you see that Yangchuan City is starting to become a model? This Sun Long is in charge of the economy, right? A zoo, a unit that makes no money at all, can be regarded as a pace setter for economic development. Who would have thought before? Comrades, our local brother units have all caught up despite the difficult conditions. Our capital zoo has abundant resources and is located in the political center. We must think carefully about the future development of the zoo. After seeing the report, the leaders of zoos in various places felt a little sour in their hearts. As one director said, the zoo is a public welfare science popularization unit and is not for profit. If a leader who is responsible for the city's spiritual civilization construction or environmental protection is inspecting, it would be okay, but if a deputy mayor who is focused on economics is inspecting, it has deeper meanings. This means that in Yangchuan City, the zoo is no longer just a window dressing decoration, it is no longer a off-duty unit, but it already has a pivotal political and economic status. In terms of just making money, the zoo cannot be compared with large factories or real estate developers. Its main function is to promote the city and act as a business card of the city. When this publicity effect reaches a certain level, quantitative changes will lead to qualitative changes. For example, the current live broadcast platform lasts for 20 hours, non-stop, to promote Yangchuan City and the zoo to all parts of the country. As long as the live streaming platform exists and continues to be so popular, Yangchuan City's popularity will grow day by day. In some places far away from Yangchuan, there are even situations where Jiangjan City, the provincial capital, is not known and only Yangchuan City is known, and this situation is not uncommon. Unknowingly, a small trend of learning from Yangchuan City Zoo was secretly set off in zoos across the country. Some of the practices of the Yangchuan City Zoo cannot be learned, such as the Great Fox Ferry. They can only hold seminars and verbally understand the spirit, while some can be copied, such as the webcast that has been built before platform. Next, the TV station produced several more programs, reporting in depth from the perspectives of the zoo's employees and contractor Daowin Entertainment Company. The last interview about the zoo was held as scheduled in the studio of Yangchuan TV station, with two guests, Su Ming and Han's father-in-law. I really couldn't spare the time, so I spent all day writing scripts in Tingfeng Pavilion. In order to prevent anyone from not knowing about this live broadcast platform, the host Nangong Yan briefly introduced the live broadcast platform and showed a few videos of the live broadcast before showing the camera to Han's father-in-law. Thank you very much, Han, for being a guest on our TV station. As we all know, you have engaged in many professions and are currently a professional racing driver. Why did you suddenly become a network anchor this time? Father-in-law Han still had a lazy smile and said, "It's not that I've been doing this for a long time, maybe it's fate. I'm also a person who likes animals and I've always kept dogs. This time I came to the zoo just in time to catch up with Deputy Director Su's event. I just tried this platform once." Nangong smiled and said, "I heard that you received a lot of gifts the day you showed up." Father-in-law Han and Su Ming looked at each other, and then father-in-law Han took over the conversation and said, "Well, regarding the issue of gifts, Dean Su and I have communicated with the beast, and we are going to give the gifts given to us by the audience, all donated to the zoo free of charge to develop animal protection and zoo construction, and help those animals live a better life." "Thank you very much," Su Ming interrupted and smiled. "Speaking of gratitude, I also want to thank the zoo. Through this program, I seem to have a lot more fans." Father-in-law Han shrugged with a smile. "Celebrities often participate in charity activities to promote the protection of nature. Han, you should be able to make a real contribution to animal protection this time," Nangong said. "Actually, it's not just me," Father-in-law Han continued. "If there are other celebrities and well-known figures in society who want to engage in activities in this area, they can do so through the platform of the zoo. This is the most direct public welfare, and for the celebrities themselves, it's also a form of propaganda. Well, Deputy Director Su, the current number of fans on the zoo's Douyin Weibo is close to 800,000, and the traffic on the live broadcast platform is also rising every day. Part of this must be brought about by the star effect. In the future, Han Han will leave after that. What are the zoo's plans for the future of the live streaming platform? Nangong turned the topic to Su Ming. Will you continue to invite celebrities to participate in live broadcasts like Han Han said? This will definitely happen. We have now started to develop mobile app clients. Regarding celebrity anchors, to be honest, until today, many celebrities have proactively contacted the zoo, hoping to conduct charity live broadcasts. Celebrities are so shrewd that there is no need for father-in-law Han to come out and make this statement. As long as someone with a little bit of fame comes to participate in the live broadcast, no one will really be interested in the tens of thousands of yuan in gifts. It is better to simply donate it to the zoo and not benefit fee. In other words, the zoo will not need to spend much money to invite celebrities to live broadcast in the future. Of course, the real big names may not be the real ones, but there are so many celebrities from both sides of the Taiwan Strait and the three places who are willing, and there are many people who are willing to do publicity for free. You may still remember that Jackie adopted a finless porpoise baby. I can tell you that he called me the day before yesterday and said that next time he comes to the mainland, he will come to the zoo and do a live broadcast with the finless porpoise baby. Of course, celebrities alone cannot support the entire platform. Su Ming continued, animal performances are one thing, and celebrity participation is another. At the same time, the zoo will recruit full-time anchors from the society. Celebrity anchors will help out, and full-time live broadcasts will be the main thing. Full-time anchor, Nangong Yan repeated. Yes, the full-time anchor will be online for 1 to 2 hours every day, and the anchor, the animals, and the audience will interact. This will give the grassroots a chance to show themselves in front of the screen. Su Ming smiled and finally concluded, the purpose of the zoo has never been to simply protect animals, nor to sacrifice humans to protect animals. Extreme animal protection cannot last long. As creatures on the earth, we hope that people and animals can interact with each other. To promote the harmonious coexistence between humans and nature, humans give animals a chance, and animals give back a gift to humans. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 307. It's hard to say whether animals give gifts back to humans. Anyway, humans have given many gifts to the zoo in the past few days. If those electronic gifts suddenly become alive, the zoo will definitely be overcrowded in an instant, and the entire Yangchuan city will probably be occupied by mantis shrimps, hip-hop monkeys, lucky cats, and the like. At that time, the story will turn into a magnificent super monster, with a number of prehistoric giant crocodiles who do all kinds of evil, and countless mantis shrimp lucky cat brothers, ruling Yangchuan city, oppressing humans, and domineering, from then on live a happy life. There were too many gifts. Not to mention other things, the 30% of the fees and service fees necessary for website operation extracted by Douyin Entertainment Company was a large sum, which made Wang Hao feel a little bit confused. In a state of unreality. What on earth did we do? It seems like we didn't do anything. The money just flowed into the bank account like water. Will we suddenly wake up one day and find that this was a dream? It's because you don't understand the economic growth and consumption model of the new era. Comrade Fat, you can't keep up with the situation at a young age. It's necessary for you to study harder. There is a huge difference between the internet age and the real economy. What is consumed is ideas, not food. When society becomes rich in material, whoever can satisfy spiritual needs will be able to seize the market. Su Ming patted Wang Hao on the shoulder, but since you think the money is too easy, I will give you a task to interview the anchor. Su Ming announced on TV that day that he was recruiting network anchors. Since it was a recorded broadcast and not a live broadcast, the news was already delayed for several days. He has previously released recruitment information through talent recruitment websites, Weibo, and live broadcast platforms. There were already a lot of people interested in Weibo and live broadcast platforms, and with the TV station's subsequent publicity, resumes for anchors were floating in the mailbox like snowflakes. After a few days, the mailbox of the live broadcast platform was almost full, and a large number of resumes were received every day, so that Anna Shen had to apply for a mailbox with a larger capacity overnight. In less than a week, nearly 1,000 copies have been received. Most of them are women, and there are actually a few children. The zoo's anchor platform definitely cannot use so many anchors, and the people who apply for the job are mixed, and not everyone is suitable for this job, so special review is necessary. After asking Anna Shen to grant administrator rights to Wang Hao clicked on the backend of the website and browsed through some resumes together with Su Ming. After hurriedly looking at dozens of resumes, Wang Hao frowned. Am I blind, or are these people face blind? Why do they all look the same? Are they all born to the same mother? Many of the young women who submit resumes have the same appearance, pointed chin, big eyes, high cheekbones, and a face that is famous on the internet. If there is a half-length photo, look carefully. Even the shape and size of the penis are different. Almost the same. It was obvious that all of them had undergone plastic surgery according to the current popular routine. It was precisely because there were a large group of artificial beauties applying for the job that Su Ming asked Wang Hao to go for interview and review. If it were anyone else, Su Ming would really not be at ease. Even though these internet celebrities say they want to take them home as wives, not many men are willing to do it. But after all, they all look like vixens, and ordinary men may not be able to resist them. As for Wang Hao, he does not have this problem at all now. After more than half a year of training in the ranks of civil servants, he has had a good time and met people in the world, and finally became a tested and trustworthy revolutionary warrior. The lustful thoughts that she had when she was in school have been completely eliminated, and she has become completely immune to these pretty girls who only have fake looks, and now her whole heart is focused on Peng Shuai. These big girls want to rely on hidden rules to get to the top, but this method doesn't work with Wang Hao. You have to give me a rough standard, otherwise I will have to go to the interview. When Wang Hao looked bitter and resentful, as if letting him come into contact with and assess these beauties was the most painful thing in the world. It was completely to devote oneself to the revolutionary cause seems to be a great injustice. Su Ming said, just remember one thing, our online live broadcast platform is different from other live broadcast platforms. It is a green platform. If you don't make money by selling sex, you don't want these internet celebrities. Many of the viewers on the platform are minors, and some are families watching. It would be eye-catching if the female anchor could change clothes, do a sexy dance, and use some bad language. It won't take long for the platform's reputation to deteriorate and a large number of real target customer groups to be lost. Could it be that Jingxuan looks just like Zhu Beiji and his second aunt? Or is she an old man and an old lady? Well, this is also a selling point, Wang Hao muttered. Of course that won't work. Su Ming shook his head. Think about it, what kind of place is a zoo? What is the selling point of the animals? The characteristics of the anchor must be consistent with the overall style of the platform. You should choose those who look young. It's so cute and reminds me of the girl next door, just like eating Green Arrow chewing gum and feeling fresh all over. Refreshing. Like the milk tea girl, a group of people hanged themselves to make a goddess famous, and finally the goddess married a rich man. It sounds like a very sad story. Wang Hao shrugged. That would be even better. If the female anchors on our platform can marry as well as the milk tea girls, we might even get a discount when we go shopping with Bao Jingdong in the future. Su Ming also smiled, and then continued, we can also recruit some anchors with characteristics, such as those with queen-like style, let her broadcast the big bad wolf, those with tsundere style, let her broadcast the bobcat, those with savage and violent girls, let them broadcast the crocodile. And so on. Okay, I understand what you said. Anyway, we don't want mainstream internet celebrities, Wang Hao nodded. And Men Su-ming added a little worriedly, remember, it seems that deep and tough guys are not popular now, nor are pure handsome guys. There are only a few types like Ken Takakura and Takeshi Kaneshiro, but fewer. I understand, the new generation of male god standards, Yang Menyanji and Peng Shui have told me. Anyway, I will choose according to the way Song Zongji calls the beast. Yang Menyanji, it seems that we two brothers have no hope. Su Ming laughed after hearing Wang Hao's insightful words. I definitely have no hope, but you are okay, you can be related, Wang Hao said seriously. Really? Su Ming was slightly happy. Peng Shui also said that in the current male god world, gay men are the mainstream, and uncles also have a place, and many girls love this. Su Ming. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 308. I don't want to discuss the issue of male gods with Wang Hao anymore. No matter whether it is the mainstream of Yang Menyanji or the non-mainstream of Shu Wu Shaojian, they have nothing to do with me anyway. The aesthetics of this era are definitely problematic. A man like me who is purely handsome is not popular anymore. What a sin. Let's get back to the topic. I discussed with Wang Hao the ownership and treatment of the anchors after the recruitment. All anchors, regardless of gender, will be temporarily managed by Daowin Entertainment Company after recruitment. According to Su Ming's opinion, they should be between employees and artists and will be managed as employees for the time being. In terms of treatment, it mainly depends on gifts. The anchors have no basic salary. But it is a bit different from celebrity anchors. The company no longer charges a 30% management fee. After deducting the part directly given to the animals, the gifts given to the anchors themselves will be divided equally between the company and the anchors. Su Ming also explained some safety issues. Except for some relatively docile animals, most animals are still dangerous. Wang Hao should formulate an employee management method and safety manual as soon as possible in addition to recruitment. At the beginning, the anchor must not be allowed to directly contact animals. Another suggestion, I will give a general direction, and you can do it as you wish. When Su Ming was about to leave, he suddenly remembered something, stopped and turned to Wang Hao. What? Have you seen the auditions of Supergirls? Su Ming grinned. Although Wang Hao is still as fat as a ball, Su Ming is still very confident in his work ability. Now the network platform has been successfully launched, and the next development plan has been determined. As long as we follow the plan, we can operate step by step. In terms of how to recruit specifically, Su Ming only mentioned a general direction, and Wang Hao understood the meaning and started to do it. This guy did not recruit like a general company, booking an office building or room for a private interview. Before the interview began, Wang Hao specially found an engineering team to build a small stage on the grass in the zoo, and publicly announced that the interview process would be held in the zoo and broadcast live on the internet platform. At the same time, Wang Hao also contacted vendors in the city who sell lobsters, beer, fried chicken, etc., and prepared to set up a food stall during the interview. As Su Ming said on TV before, the zoo's live broadcast platform not only promotes animal protection, but also gives grassroots an opportunity to show themselves in front of the public. So according to Su Ming's suggestion, Wang Hao implemented it specifically, with the goal of turning Daowin Entertainment's internal interview into an audition similar to a reality show. The effect was indeed very good. The first batch of interviews attracted a large number of tourists to watch on the same day, so that the zoo had to postpone the closing time to 9 p.m. for the first time. There was also a small episode. Ren Chen took the initiative to find Wang Hao one day and recommended a girl, hoping that Wang Hao would open a back door and let the girl be the anchor. Wang Hao came to ask Su Ming, and Su Ming heard that it was recommended by Ren Chen, and he didn't want to get involved. If they met Ren Chen, both of them would be a little embarrassed, and they just watched the girl's video. She quite meets the requirements, pure like the natural cabbage grown with farm manure in the rural fields, fresh and green, absolutely in line with the image of the little girl next door in the minds of otakus. Based on my many years of experience in reading people, she is definitely a senior green tea bitch, Wang Hao said with certainty. You can decide on this matter. But Ren Chen should not ask you for help with red lips and white teeth, right? Su Ming said with a smile. He stuffed a card in my pocket, but I refused. Later, he said that his company was willing to provide full sponsorship for the audition. Wang Hao grinned and said, "Don't think this guy is lustful, but he is willing to spend money on women. It's a waste of money, and it's not in vain if you don't pass it on." Su Ming now gradually feels that Ren Chen is a bit interesting. Since he gave up harassing Nangong, if we put aside the issue of his personal lifestyle, to be fair, this guy is not a villain in the traditional sense. He is very versatile and capable. He has a certain degree of self-knowledge and knows how to do things. He is not the same as the ordinary rich second generation who relies on the wealth and power of their parents. Su Ming even felt that Ren Chen came to use the back door this time and spent a lot of money on sponsorship. The real purpose is not only for the fat cabbage girl, but also likely to repair the relationship between the two parties. There is no need for him to show up. Wang Hao can simply contact him as a response to his goodwill. What is Yang Chuanzu doing? Are they really planning to hold a Supergirls audition? After the Yang Chuanzu live broadcast platform became popular, other zoos immediately imitated it and invested in their own live broadcast platforms. The fastest ones have already been put online for testing. Following the trend and imitating others may not sound good, but as long as there is a practical effect, there are still many people willing to do it. But the problem is that Yang Chuanzu is too popular, and then there are inviting celebrities to live broadcast and grassroots anchors. Other zoos can only continue to follow the trend. What should they do if they don't follow? Can they really attract audiences by relying on the animals in their zoos? Let's not talk about the Yang Chuanzu live broadcast platform. The star fan economy and the grassroots inspirational economy have attracted a large number of audiences. Even if we only compare the attractiveness of the animals themselves, the animals in other zoos are not as good as those in Yang Chuanzu. So, a somewhat embarrassing situation has emerged. Following the trend may not necessarily make you popular, but it seems that not following the trend will definitely lead to death. So each zoo also carried out publicity with a bit of shyness, inviting celebrities and hiring grassroots anchors. As a result, Yang Chuan City has turned the recruitment of grassroots anchors into a national feast in just a few days. Leader, are we still learning? When the assistant said this, his face was a little hot. If you imitate once, everyone will laugh and not care. Anyway, there are so many programs that plagiarize now. If you imitate twice in a row, it is a bit unreasonable, and you will be laughed at for copying others' ideas and chewing the steamed buns that others have eaten. Now, in a short period of time, 3 consecutive imitations have almost become a joke. Is it true that except for Yang Chuanzu, other zoos in the country have no innovation ability? In addition to plagiarism, all they can do is plagiarism? There is no need for the audience to laugh at them, these internal staff are flushed. The leader thought about it for a long time, and finally sighed helplessly, rolled his eyes and said, "It has come to this point, what should we do if we don't follow? If we follow, at most they can eat the meat and we can drink some soup, right?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 309. The days passed by like a flash. Wang Hao had just held one of the anchor auditions. There were still hundreds of anchors who had signed up and were waiting for him to interview. Su Ming was surprised. Before he knew it, it was already the end of April. What he had said casually at the beginning had become a fact. He and Nangong really had to wait until May Day to go out and play. The benefits of the TV station were outrageous. During the holidays, they either went out to play at public expense or gave out a lot of bonuses. May Day was no exception. Several popular TV hosts, including Nangong, could go on a 5-day European tour at public expense as long as they could record the programs during the holiday in advance. Such a good benefit, but Nangong refused it without a second thought, and came to join Su Ming in the 5-day tour of Hong Kong organized by the zoo. Su Ming decided on the spur of the moment that the entire zoo would go out to play together. Since the restructuring, the economic situation of the zoo has been getting better day by day. As the director, it is time to give everyone some benefits. It was just right to take advantage of this May Day opportunity to organize a group tour. The zoo staff arranged their work in advance. As long as they could spare some time, they could bring their families to Hong Kong for 5 days at public expense. They had to be arranged to work on duty. Those who could not go were given holiday allowances. In short, no one was left out. Sister Tong counted the number of people and reported it to Su Ming for signature and confirmation. Then she could ask the finance department to approve the money. After entering the door, she half-jokingly said, "Director, look at how unsatisfied these people are. The zoo has been running for decades. In the past, at most they could only travel outside the province, and only the leaders could go. Now they are all taken to the special zone at public expense, and they are starting to clamor again, saying that they will go to Europe next year." When speaking, even Sister Tong herself did not notice that she had unconsciously removed the word deputy from the title of Su Ming. That's completely possible. Tell everyone that if the zoo continues to develop like this, take them to Dubai in 2 years. Su Ming glanced at the list. There were 25 employees who could spare some time, and 38 people including their families. "Why isn't Director Song here?" Su Ming looked up and asked. "I specifically asked. The old director is old and doesn't want to go out." Sister Tong laughed and said, "He also scolded us for not knowing how to appreciate our blessings." Su Ming signed his name at the bottom of the document and asked with a smile, "What's the reason for this?" The old director said that the zoo is now a famous tourist attraction. People from other places go to our zoo during holidays. We, on the other hand, spend money to go out of town. Travel, isn't that the case? Go from a place you're tired of living in to a place others are tired of living in. Su Ming handed the signed document back to Sister Tong and told her, "Don't be afraid to spend money when you go out to play. Find a better travel agency and a pure tour group. Going out is all about having fun. Don't be greedy." Yi encountered the kind of forced shopping, which spoiled everyone's fun. "Okay, don't worry." Sister Tong walked out with the documents in her arms. Just as she reached the door, she suddenly stopped, turned back and showed Su Ming a very meaningful smile, and whispered, "Director, do you have classmates or friends who run travel agencies?" Su Ming didn't understand what she meant at first. He was stunned for 2 seconds before he smiled unhappily. "Sister, you can handle this matter. If anyone in our zoo has a relationship with a travel agency, it's okay to let him contact them." Before the May Day holiday, Han's father-in-law was busy racing. One night, he said hello to Su Ming and called Xiao Xiao. The three of them drank a little wine on the top of Tingfeng Pavilion, which was considered a temporary farewell. Xiao Xiao would go to guest star as a male anchor when he was not writing unexpected scripts during this period. Even though he was often sprayed on the head and face by alpacas and scratched on the head by monkeys, it seemed that his mental state was much better than when he first returned to the zoo. "Because what you are doing now, although not making money, is exactly the original intention of you to engage in this industry," Han's father-in-law summarized in a very literary way. "It may not be unprofitable, but you donated it all to the zoo," Su Ming said. Jiaoxiao's style as an online anchor is very similar to when he first did Jiaoxiao Teaches You XXX on the internet. Moreover, after experiencing the professional training in the past 2 years, he has more precipitation and accumulation than before. In a short period of time, he has gathered a lot of new fans, and the popularity of the live broadcast room is even not inferior to Han's father-in-law. To be honest, it's quite happy to do live broadcasts. But if you can make a movie or something, it would be even better, even if you just participate in the production, Jiaoxiao said, touching his big bald head. Han's father-in-law glanced at Su Ming, and Su Ming shrugged, "Don't look at me, I can't afford to make a movie now." "Aren't you rich?" "It's all hard-earned money." The three of them chatted and really talked about making movies. If they risked their lives and pooled their money together, they could have raised some money, but making a movie is not just about having money. A good script, a large crew, and post-production distribution all require professionals, which may be difficult to achieve in a short period of time. Dear passengers, we are about to land at Hong Kong International Airport. On behalf of all the flight staff, I would like to thank everyone for taking this flight and wish you a pleasant journey. Amid the roar of the engine, there was a slight feeling of weightlessness, and the flight landed steadily on the runway of Hong Kong International Airport. At an altitude of 1,000 meters, a Jershner also landed and went into the woods on the top of Lantau Island not far away to rest. Hong Kong International Airport is built on an artificial island near Lantau Island. Surrounding the airport are large expanses of blue water, with a wide field of vision and pleasant scenery. Standing at the cabin door, you can even clearly feel the slightly salty and humid sea breeze blowing in your face. The sea is directly north of the airport. Through the thin mist on the strait, you can vaguely see the tall buildings on the opposite shore, which is the prosperous commercial district of Tuen Mun. The name Tuen Mun, like Causeway Bay, has left a deep impression on the impression of the post-80s generation in mainland China. Even if you have never been to Hong Kong, you will be familiar with Tuen Mun when it is mentioned, and many childhood memories will come flooding in. There are 12 branches in Hong Kong, but only Tuen Mun is all the same. The Tuen Mun sex maniac known as the Rainy Night Butcher is me. The human meat barbecued pork buns that will be punished by heaven and earth. Nangong took off her exaggerated large sunglasses, turned her head and patted Su Ming's shoulder sympathetically, and sighed hypocritically, "Young man, I can see that your childhood life was very unfortunate, with all these memories. Full of violence, pornography, and horror movies." Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 310. The group got off the plane and took the shuttle bus to the exit. The local travel agency guide had been waiting here for a long time. He greeted them from a distance, waving a small flag in his hand, and led everyone to the tourist bus waiting outside the airport. Before leaving the airport, Su Ming saw from a distance a woman wearing the same exaggerated sunglasses as Nangong, holding a big sign in her hand to pick people up outside. The sign read, "Vice Director Su of Yangchuan Zoo." "It's Julia." Nangong recognized the person who came to pick up the airport at a glance. It was Jackie's female assistant. Julia also saw Nangong, put down the sign and ran over. Su Ming was also convinced. If he remembered correctly, the two women had only met once. When he helped Jackie plan his concert, they went shopping together once. After half a year, the two were so far away and both wore super big sunglasses, but they could recognize each other. "Guide Zhang, please get on the bus and wait for me. I'm going to meet a friend over there." Su Ming greeted the tour guide, then walked towards Julia with Nangong. After the two women met, they hugged each other very intimately and chatted a lot, praising each other for being young again. "Wow, this dress suits you very well," etc., and then Julia took out a light golden card from her purse and handed it to Su Ming. "Mr. Su, the charity dinner will be held at the Peninsula Hotel at 7 p.m. 3 days later. This is the invitation card. You can bring one lady. Thank you. Su Ming put the light gold card into his bag and said to Julia, say hello to Jackie for me. Jackie asked me to apologize to you on his behalf. He is promoting his new film and is too busy to pick you up. If he can make it, he may also attend the charity dinner. Nangong, if you want to go shopping these days, just call me to accompany you. Their men only know how to make money. You just need to help them spend more. Nangong smiled with his lips pursed, and Su Ming rolled his eyes in his heart. What kind of logic is this? Before Su Ming was about to come to Hong Kong, he learned from a casual chat with Zhao Yun that Sotheby's would co-organize a small charity dinner in May, which is simply a charity auction. However, this kind of charity dinner is not something that can be attended by spending 50 yuan to buy a ticket. The attendees are either rich or noble, and they are all celebrities, directly invited by the organizer. Of course, you can also buy an invitation card with money, such as the gold card in Su Ming's arms. If you buy it, it costs 400,000 Hong Kong dollars. In other words, as long as you attend the dinner, even if you don't buy anything or sell anything, you have to pay 400,000 first, which is equivalent to spending 400,000 for a meal. All the proceeds from the auction of the dinner will be donated to charity in the end, so the price will not soar too high under normal circumstances. Although the things are not expensive, there are often some very interesting and commemorative gadgets, such as the beloved pocket watch of a certain governor, the antiques collected by a certain rich man, etc. Su Ming was quite interested, so he got an invitation card through Jackie, and then he would bring Nangong to attend, which would be regarded as adding a special attraction to the strip. After chatting briefly with Julia and leaving a contact number in Hong Kong, Su Ming and Nangong followed the zoo's tourist double-decker bus and left the outlying island area with the large group. After the bus entered the relatively prosperous Hong Kong island, at the entrance of the famous Hennessy Avenue, Su Ming asked the driver to stop the car and took Nangong out of the car. We two will go and play by ourselves, you guys play your own things, and meet at the hotel the night before we leave. The zoo staff on the bus all nodded with a smile, but Su Ming squeezed his head out of the window, pointed at his nose, and shouted anxiously. Su Ming winked at the nurse Xiaohu who was sitting in the same row with him, then waved to Su Ming and said, Su Ming, don't follow us, go shopping with everyone, buy whatever you want, don't be afraid to spend money. After that, he turned around and took Nangong's hand, and the two ran into Hennessy Avenue, and disappeared in the crowd in a blink of an eye. Hennessy Road is located in the central area of Causeway Bay, connecting Wan Chai and Causeway Bay. It is less than 2 kilometers long, but it is the most prosperous and lively area in Hong Kong. Jackie once filmed a movie Moonful Hennessy, which was shot here. Su Ming and Nangong Yan walked hand in hand in the endless stream of people. They saw gold jewelry streets everywhere on both sides of the road, as well as many cheap snacks and tea restaurants with traditional Hong Kong characteristics. Looking up, you can see one of Hong Kong's most famous shopping malls, Sogo department store not far away. The high-priced shopping places and cheap and distinctive restaurants interweave to form the unique characteristics of Hennessy Avenue. Su Ming used to think that this Hennessy Avenue was named after the Hennessy wine, but was ridiculed by Nangong mercilessly. Only then did he know that this road was named in memory of the former governor of Hong Kong, the British Sir Hennessy. Just like the May House and May House, the Hong Kong Royal Police Headquarters building, are named in memory of Sir Charles Maley, the first police captain of Hong Kong. The famous Tianjin Light Village is named after Michael Rai, the former director of works of the Hong Kong British government. In Hong Kong, this modern city of luxury, there are too many colonial traces left by the British. Hey, it has been more than 10 years since the liberation. The majestic and powerful troops loading the port are just a few kilometers away. And you are obviously an evil capitalist. Don't act like a proletarian fighter who is worried about the country and the people. Doesn't it look good? Nangong's eyes were gleaming all the way. He was like a greedy mouse that fell into the kitchen behind the Manchu banquet. Faced with countless delicacies, he didn't know where to start his mouth. Hearing Su Ming sigh with emotion on the side, he looked at him like he was an idiot. Why can't I worry about the country and the people? I am a party member. Su Ming's stance was quite stable. Okay, comrade party member. I am not as firm as you. Now I have to accept the corruption of capitalism. Ha ha ha, Nangong Yan winked, dragged Su Ming and rushed into a roadside restaurant. Zhou Sheng. Comrade Su Ming, a party member, was immediately defeated by the temptation of beauty. After Nangong Yan's flirtatious look, his party spirit completely flowed into the sea along the Pearl River, and he followed Nangong into the gold shop. There were people everywhere in the gold shop. Nangong squeezed to the counter, pointed to a row of golden jewelry under the counter, and asked the waiter to try them on while looking in the mirror with a blind eye. Su Ming looked around curiously. It was also a Chaosang gold shop. The one in Xiangjiang was no different from the one in Yangchuan City. The only difference is that there are more people. The Chaosang restaurant in Yangchuan City has more waiters than customers. The Chaosang restaurant on Hennessy Road is just the opposite. It is almost overcrowded with customers. Most of them are mainland tourists wearing uniform vests and speaking Mandarin. It seems that they are traveling group booking. The imagined situation where tour guides and merchants suddenly closed their doors and forced shopping did not happen. The atmosphere in the store was quite harmonious. The beautiful waitress spoke Mandarin with a Cantonese accent, and the tourists chatted with each other in Mandarin with a local accent. Nangong finally chose a pair of exaggerated large gold earrings, which looked like those worn by female singers wearing bat shirts in the 1980s. You are so out of date. This is called retro. Fashion trends come around every 12 years. Haven't you seen that many girls are now wearing small pants again? Clothes with big earrings are so sexy. The waiter also wore a very professional but never annoying smile, and said with a smile to the group, "This lady is not only beautiful, but also has first-class vision." Sometimes when a woman buys something, the quality of the thing is secondary. The key is to buy in a good mood. Even if she knew that the waitress meant to flatter her, Nangong still smiled sweetly and was about to take out her card to pay. Unexpectedly, the waitress didn't finish her words. Seeing Nangong taking out the card, she continued with a smile, "The style of these earrings is very grand. If it is worn by a young girl, it will only look too exaggerated. It is suitable for a truly mature and attractive woman, such as you, miss." Nangong was about to hand over the card. When he heard this, he shrank his hand, raised his head and glared at the waitress. "What did you say? Do I look old?" Su Ming almost burst out laughing. Of course Nangong is not old, he is not even 25 years old. The only fault is that she dresses too mature and international, with a big sun hat and a pair of big sunglasses that can cover half of her face. She was also wearing a patterned silk scarf. If it was a business dinner, she would look glamorous, but in a shopping mall where people were coming and going, she looked like a mature lady, not a girl in her early 20s. Let's go, don't buy it, don't buy it." Nangong stomped his feet angrily, pulling Su Ming to leave. Buy, Su Ming said while holding back a smile. Seeing Su Ming trying to laugh but trying to hold it back, Nangong became even more depressed. "I don't wear those things that old people wear. If you don't want to wear it for your mother, why don't you take it back to my mother and wear it?" Su Ming couldn't bear it anymore. He took out the card and handed it to the dumbfounded waiter beside him, winking at her, "Wrap up the earrings." When the waitress saw the flying duck flying back, she was stunned for a moment, then cast a grateful look at Su Ming, took the card, and swiped the card quickly to pack it away. In the end, he bought it for 4,200 Hong Kong dollars. Su Ming didn't ask for a tax refund, so he walked out of Chaosang with Nangong Yan and his small bag. As soon as Su Ming left the gold shop and walked less than 10 meters, he saw several people wearing masks suddenly appeared on the other side of the road. Each of them was carrying a big skull bag behind them. The eyes exposed from behind the masks were cold and cold. With the cold light, he walked toward Jinpil with murderous intent. Huh? What's going on? It's not like you're robbing a gold shop, right? Su Ming suddenly became excited. It was so exciting. The gold shop robbery, the most commonly used classic plot in Hong Kong police and gangster movies, actually happened to him.